Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the AMA. My name is Kirtan Shetty, and I am the BD and business development and the partnership guy here at Bitbns. I mostly handle the business development, listings, and partnership side of things for Bitbns and for other products as well, which includes PyHut, BNS Pay, and some others. So today we have two very special guests from an amazing blockchain projects in the real estate space. So we have Roshan De Silva and Vijay Thomas. Both Roshan and Vijay have over a decade experience in real estate, and they're working on building FOHO. So in a nutshell, FOHO allows sharing of real estate using blockchain, and their IDO is on 27th of July on Bitbns. We're going to put the description, the link in the description for the IDO and also how to participate on this. So we'll start off with a little bit of introduction, and Roshan, why don't you get started?
Sure. Thanks, Kirtan, and thanks for everyone tuning in. My name is Roshan. I'm an entrepreneur. I graduated from a very famous tech university called IIT Bombay in the year 2000. Pretty much after that, I've been an entrepreneur throughout. For the past 11 years, I've been in the vacation rental, vacation real estate space as the founder of a company called Trip Villas. Trip Villas is one of the leading managers and developers of vacation home complexes. I wish it was morning, Ketan, when we were doing this, because I'm actually at one of our properties, about 2 hours away from Bombay. It's very pretty in the day, and it's been raining here. And with that, I'll pass on to my co-founder Vijay.
Yeah, thanks, Roshan, and welcome to everybody that's joining. Roshan has all the good weather and the the monsoon, and makes me feel homesick and wanting me to come back to India. I live in Toronto, Canada, where I've been living for the last almost 20 years. Like Roshan, I am an engineer. I also did an MBA from the Goa Institute of Management. I have been running a company called Tangentia, which is a digital transformation IT company for the last almost 17 years. We're headquartered in Toronto with offices in New York and in India. And I also run a small venture capital company called Tangentia Ventures. And that is how I actually got into this space. We created a company called FOHO.house in 2019, which was fractional home ownership. And it was smaller fractions, and maybe I'm getting into your next question here, but I'll just give this story a little bit. It was 10 to 12 fractions, and we started off in Goa and Sri Lanka, and then 2020 we were going to take it further and bigger, and then COVID hit, and then we kind of put things on hold. And come 2021, I ran into Roshan. Roshan at Trip Villas was trying to do something similar. And create a fractional kind of ownership thing, Trip Villa Club, and we got talking. We said, why don't we put our heads together? You were doing Trip Villas. We already had FOHO. We already had these partnerships, and then we decided, hey, we discovered blockchain. We discovered crypto. Now we brought crypto and blockchain to this idea, and today, rather than having 10 to 12 fractions, you can have 10,000 fractions. Now, it's unbelievable the power of blockchain to an idea like shared real estate. And I think the rest is history. We now have FOHO Coin. The IEO is on 27th July, and we're really excited to be here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think we lost Vijay there for a yep. Great, this is fantastic. I mean, the introduction has been great, and thank you so much. I think with your real estate experience, both of you, and bridging with the blockchain, right? I think the best example that Vijay gave, which is not just 10 to 12 fraction, giving it around 10,000 fraction. I think everybody gets a piece of the pie here, right? So that said, I really want to understand what brought you into the blockchain space, right? FOHO was something that was built back in 2019 itself, but what was the convincing factor to get into the blockchain space? Definitely, I'm sure everybody would like to learn about that. And with FOHO started in 2019. Before that,
I think I disconnected.
Yeah, just for a few brief seconds. Right. I was asking Roshan as to what pulled you both into blockchain, number one. And second thing is before FOHOs, it was still fractional ownership with Trip Villas and other projects, right? So want to get deep into this side of things as well. If you could throw some light around that, that would be helpful.
Yeah. Ketan, essentially what we felt was that, when you buy real estate, there are, it's a great investment, because as compared to other investments, real estate cannot go to zero. It costs to build real estate, and land is always scarce. And so, essentially any property, its price can't go below the cost of buying a equivalent plot of land and constructing something similar on that. However, there are some issues with real estate investing, which is that, you need to have a lot of capital. Every property costs a lot of money, and then, you have to due diligence the property, which means you need to go and see who's the actual owner, the documents, make sure you do a right contract. If you're buying from a developer, then, is the developer reputed, will he complete on time, etc., etc. And for a regular person, like, it kind of, one real estate investment kind of skews your portfolio, because your portfolio, it tends to be like in India, 1 crore, 1.5 crores, 2 crores, etc. And so pretty much for a regular person, most of your portfolio ends up being in one investment, and that's a lot of risk and concentration in there. So what we decided with FOHO is that, we decided, let's kind of bring fractional ownership, let's bring the focus on, if it's not a property you're staying in, then it should be a property that's going to make you money and going to make you rentals and things like that. And how can you kind of leverage other people's ideas, and the fact that, I may not be in Baroda, but you, Kirtan, are in Baroda. So, I say, if you find an exciting opportunity, how can you, go and check that deal out, and then how can I piggyback on you? So that's essentially the whole concept that we try to put in with FOHO. And I'll let Vijay also answer, add to that.
Yeah, and I think with the whole decentralized operation of the blockchain, right? So the decentralized ledgers today, we can have people take care of their own properties. I mean, the one example, as Roshan mentioned, was you can get in for and I always give this example, for less than the cost for a broom closet in Toronto or in New York. You can buy a fraction of a apartment, overlooking Central Park in New York. You can buy a fraction of an apartment in Tel Aviv, Israel. You can buy a fraction of a apartment at NCPA in Nariman Point. You don't need to be Anil Ambani to own a fraction of NCPA apartment anymore, right? So I think that is one part of it. The second part of this is also, there is governance that is dependent on, with the FOHO, you will be, these properties will get listed. You'll use the FOHO coin to be able to buy these properties, and then there's going to be governance related to that property. So people can vote and decide through the blockchain who should be the property manager. Should we stay? Should we sell the property? And again, it depends on democracy. 50% of people can decide we want to sell this, right? Or you can say, so it is definitely something that we think is the future. It allows people, to the wisdom of the crowds, as he said, Baroda or somewhere else. Somebody brings an opportunity. You can bring your own opportunity. We think if you see there's a warehouse in Pune or a warehouse in Plano, Texas, that Amazon is looking for warehouse space, and you say, what, let's all get together, buy this warehouse and lease it to Amazon. Right? Today, you might not have the money to do it all yourself, but you bring this amazing idea to the FOHO.work platform. Work is the commercial aspect of FOHO.house. FOHO.house is houses. .work is commercial. So you bring that warehouse on board. Another 10,000 people say, what, great idea. We all start buying fractions of this. The warehouse now gets leased to Amazon. Amazon pays money. Great client. They're not going to go bankrupt. The money comes in. it's split between 10,000 people. After 5 years, the land around there goes up, the warehouse triples in value. People get together and say, let's sell this. They sell it. All the 10,000 people get 3x returns. So it's as simple as, it's simplified, but we're probably a little oversimplifying it. We'll get into details of how this happens, and we'll also tell you why, thanks to blockchain, a lot of this is now easily possible. It wasn't so easily possible previously. So I think we will get into more detail, but I think that should give you a gist of what the FOHO ecosystem is. And one more thing I'll talk about. So FOHO.house is where residential marketplace. FOHO.work is the commercial, and the third part is FOHO.club. FOHO.club is where a bunch of people get together and you can do usage of the property yourself, and it is not ownership. So let's assume 20 families in Mumbai go to Goa very often. Now, when they go to Goa very often, they either stay in a hotel, they stay at Airbnb. They decide, you know what? Why don't we rent a villa? So all of them get together, create a club, rent a villa, and all this can be done through the FOHO model. And you don't need to know each other. You through FOHO, you get to there is a governance model, and at the end of the year, the rental, the club, has so many usage from within the club. So many days, if nobody is there, they put it on Airbnb. So there's a profit or a loss. It's shared between the club, and then people can decide we want to continue with the club or not. And everything is on blockchain. You get to know all the details of who stayed, who didn't stay, all of that. I give an example, as most of our people are in India. The ledger, like the khata book that people write in, is now on the blockchain. So each of our properties, everything, the club is on the blockchain, and it's visible, transparent. I think that's the beauty of what we do, and that's how blockchain really, really helps. It's no longer, it's like that group, that friend that does this trip, right? And then you're always guessing, hey, did he actually write down all these things or not? It's not, there's nothing about me writing on it. It is all transparent. So I think that's where we want to revolutionize, democratize real estate ownership and usage.
Thank you so much for that, Roshan and Vijay. So I think we have to break it down further here, right? So based on what Roshan said, it is actually hard to buy a real estate property depending on what the laws are and what kind of certification or developer they are. So I can relate to it because me and my fiance in Mangalore have been trying to buy a beach property. There are several things over there, right? One is the CRZ zone, which means that from the beach, it should be so many meters only, then you can construct a house, how many stories building it should be there. And then there is something called as RERA and a lot of this stuff, right? And Vijay, from what you said, what I understand is there is a lot to FOHO than just fractional ownership of the real estate, right? So from the white paper, I understand that you have FOHO Coin, FOHO House, FOHO Work, FOHO Club, 4 parts of it, right? And I think down the roadmap, there are a lot more that FOHO is trying to do. We did get a gist of it, but could you explain as to how FOHO Coin fits in everywhere, and what kind of an investor, what fits best for him, right? So because even I want to own a fraction of a property somewhere in Greece, or why not, right? So I see already there are properties in Goa, Sri Lanka, and India.
Yeah.
So please, if you could walk me through that.
Absolutely. So let me tell you. So let's say if you went to a fair, a village fair, or you went to a mela in India, right? You went to a mela. When you go to the mela, at the gate of the mela, they will sell you some coupons, right? So you have to buy those coupons. Then you take those coupons, you go inside, you can get on the Ferris wheel, you can play games, you can do a lot of things, but you have to use your coupons to do that. So FOHO Coin is the utility token that allows you to enter the FOHO ecosystem. So you, with the FOHO Coin, now it's also going to be listed on Bitbns. So unlike the Mela coupon that doesn't go up or down in value, the FOHO Coin could possibly go up and down, and we definitely think it's going to go up. But definitely it is going to be listed. So if you decide this Mela is not for me, and other people decide this Mela is for them, the price will go up and you can sell. But we hope we've told you how this Mela is going to be for all of you. And then once you got those coins, the FOHO Coin, you can use that FOHO coin to invest in FOHO house, which is, then it would get converted into a property token, and then those property tokens then would be traded. So the FOHO coin is your entry, and then once you buy sell, you can come back into FOHO coin, but FOHO coin is your entry, and that should be the utility token that will be used within the FOHO ecosystem. And Roshan, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I think essentially, what people should keep in mind is that um, at the end of the day, any currency or any store of value, ultimately you want to buy real things with it. And so, essentially, FOHO is a unique project which is providing that bridge between, the crypto world and maybe a lot of capital which is locked in there, not just with you guys, but with various large investors across the globe. And we feel that they will want to, at some point of time, say that I want to take that money out of I want to keep it in the crypto world, but I want to buy things which I can actually use and I can live in and I can have a beautiful life. And that is what FOHO will enable.
Got it. Thank you so much for that. And I think just to be clear, a FOHO house, FOHO work, FOHO club, all these are under the FOHO ecosystem, and FOHO coin. You can use this for any of this, right? So it could be the club that Vijay explained, work and house as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's the FOHO coin that powers all the ownership
You're
for all these.
absolutely right. So essentially, the FOHO coin is the utility token. You can use it
Right.
to either buy a fraction of real properties. So you can use it to buy a fraction of a house. What that means is you could also buy 100% of your house. So, let's say, Keertan, if you and your girlfriend wanted to buy, or fiance wanted to buy a home on the beach, etc., you could actually buy all the fractions and own 100% of your home and live in it. Similarly, if you wanted to just, you and a friend wanted to just rent an apartment by the beach in Goa, and you could, so you don't need to own it, you could just buy usage of the apartment in Goa, and both of you could just split the costs automatically, and you don't need to know each other.
Right, right, right. Got it. I think this is pretty clear. So I was having that confusion. I'm sure most of the viewers here would have the same question, right? So I have a list of questions that has come by, mostly asking how can one own different sets of property here? What would happen? So we'll go through those questions one by one. But one of the most important questions that would pop up in everyone's mind is real estate, which is a real asset out there, right? So you're owning something over there. And how does that look from a legal standpoint?
Oh, it's a great question. So essentially, the we using the model that, pretty much the largest real estate companies in the world use, which is the REIT model. So in the REIT model,
Okay.
I'm sure even the ones who are in India will know that, there are two large REITs which have now been listed in India. One is the Embassy REIT and the other is the Brookfield REIT. And, essentially that's a real estate trust. So it's a trust that owns the real estate, and then the trust issues certificates of ownership to people who own, let's say, who are the beneficiaries of the trust, and then based on who holds that certificate, they get the income, they get the right to use that property, etc. The only difference here now is that instead of it being, like an old world trust with the paperwork and things like that, here we have moved that record of who owns which certificate to the blockchain. So it's essentially become digital.
This is very interesting. I think this actually solves a lot of problem here,
Yeah.
right?
So just
So you
to
have
add,
crypto.
okay,
If you have,
yeah,
Yes,
Ketan,
please.
just to add, if there's people out there that are saying, the real estate is a state function or a province function, right? So Maharashtra has its own, Karnataka has its own, Michigan has its own, Ontario has its own. So again, globally, it's a state or province that decides this. So in Maharashtra, if you want to go to the Maharashtra land registry and sign something, paperwork, that is going to continue. We're not going to move that. And if you're going to be 10,000 fractional holders, your name will never be on that piece of paper. Okay, so it's never going to be on the piece of paper. I just wanted to clarify, because people are saying, do I have to go and sign? No, you don't have to sign anything. We have the trust or the private limited company or the model that we're following, and this will be different for different regions, but the model would be that would hold the actual paper, and then the registrar of the shareholders, it will be on the blockchain, and that will keep moving. as people buy and sell, that will move. And I think that's transparent as well. So absolutely, like if you were owning some shares and they say they're going to announce dividend on this day, on the dividend day, if your name is on the registry, you will get the dividend. Same way, if there is on the day that we pay rent, if your name is there, whoever's name is there will get the rent. So it's as simple as that. So if you sell your fractional share to somebody else, it will go.
Got it, got it. So which means that the very interesting part here is that one is that I can sit in Bangalore or Bangalore and own a property elsewhere, right?
Mhm.
And if I'm part of the FOHO club or so, or if FOHO work, for example, right? And if it's a co-working space, if I'm traveling there, I can make use of it since I have the FOHO
Absolutely.
coins with me. It could, right? It could be the
Yes.
same with FOHO club or FOHO house, anything.
Yes,
So
yes.
anywhere one is planning to visit, if they're having FOHO tokens, that's their best bet for
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
access to that
absolutely.
property and staying there. Very interesting, in fact. And thank you for answering those questions around the legal side of things as well, Roshan and Vijay. So let's talk a little bit around the roadmap as well, right? So the IDO is coming up July 27. That's a couple of days from now, 10 days from now, right? So out of curiosity, personal interest, I'm sure many of them have the same question as well. When do you think once the exchanges start listing and everything, what does the timeline look like in terms of participating in the product, in the ecosystem and owning a piece of the property? How does that look like?
Oh, so we expect that, we will launch all the platforms by November. So, pretty much, August 15th, the token starts trading.
Okay.
By end of August itself, we will, the FOHO coin will be accepted on Trip Villas, where, you can book any holiday home on Trip Villas using the FOHO coin uh, pretty much immediately. We will then launch FOHO House, which was already, so we're relaunching it. And then after that,
Mhm.
we'll launch FOHO Work and then FOHO Club. So essentially, we expect that by December 1st, and by the time it's holiday season, virtually all the FOHO coin, all the holders will be in Goa partying, or will be in Phuket partying, or in Dubai partying using the FOHO coins that they own.
I was about to actually tell the same thing. Actually, if COVID permits, IDO, there will be a lot of participation on Ascent by Bitbns, right? So a lot of holdings. August 15th is not too far away, and then worst case, like you said, even if it is December first week, the Christmas party will be elsewhere. This is definitely good. I think I'm personally going to do this.
Yeah.
Great. So let's pick up a few questions from the community, right? We have quite a lot of questions. We'll go over this one by one, right? First question is by Shadab Alam. So, what real estate will you be able to rent? Let's say for touristic purposes. Will this be FOHO or from outsourced providers? And he would like to think that FOHO at the moment does not have any real estate to offer for rent. So I think I'll answer the first part of this one because I already saw on the website that there are quite a few of properties listed in Goa, Sri Lanka, and some other places as well. But I'll leave it to you to answer this question.
So let me say, FOHO, I started the legacy FOHO in 2019. So we do have some property which we will be bringing on to for the FOHO house. But the other gentleman here, my co-founder, runs Asia's largest villa, and holiday home, management company. So they have thousands of villas and homes, which we'll also be hosting on the FOHO club. So we will be cross posting a lot of them. So as soon as things open up, I think the postings will be in the thousands. However, the club, we want people to get involved. If you go to, let's say, Shimoga, okay, I'm just taking an example. I grew up in Goa, so I know some of the places in and out. So it doesn't have to be only Goa. You put it there and you say, maybe I've got another 20 people that go to Shimoga once few days in a year, every year, right? Can we get together with them and get a rent a holiday home there, right? So the idea here is, you find your tribe, you find your people that do the
Yeah.
same thing in the club, and you guys get together and share it. You don't have to do everything yourself. You will find other people that are interested in some things that you do. So that is, I think, one of the premises of the FOHO club. anybody can find something. If you find something that you can bring to the table, and you just have to bring other people to get interested. So I think it is going to be, as people figure this out, people are going to bring, you can bring it. Initially we're going to help out with bringing some properties just to prove the concept. This is like initially Uber, bought a few taxis and got some things going. After which Uber did not have to buy any more taxis because people started
Right.
using their own taxis, right? Airbnb, initially maybe had to do a little bit of market making, get people interested, find things. Once it caught on, you don't need to. It is the marketplace takes a life of its own, and I think that's where we want to go with this. And I think great question, but we want you to source. We want you to find those opportunities, and other people will follow. So that's how it is.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. I hope this answers Shadab questions. And we have a very interesting next question who was actually a part of your previous AMA as well. So he attended the last AMA session, and after reading about FOHO Coin, he has a doubt regarding how the purchases happen. So the purchasers will have a stake in an asset without having to pay for the entire property, and he's asking if you could explain. So basically, the question turns around, okay, he's owning a fraction of the property here. What happens if he's selling it, right? So should everybody together sell the whole property? How does that work?
Sure. So essentially, there are two ways you can exit your investment in a property. One is that you own the property specific tokens and you can sell the token itself. So you have immediate liquidity, by selling the token and on Bitbns, and then the money is in your account, etc. You could also feel, so it's possible that sometimes the token may not capture the actual value of the property, or there may be a delay or a lag, etc. So the property may be worth $300,000, but the token's market cap is, let's say, 250,000. So the various token holders can get together and say, let's sell the property completely, and we delist the token by that, and we sell it for $300,000, and the $300,000 is then paid out to all token holders in cash or in USDC, whatever. So there are both ways to exit it. So if you feel that the market value is fine and it's fair, you exit the token. If you feel that no, the market's not actually capturing the true value of the property, and let's do an organized sale, then you can do an organized sale and receive cash. What I wanted to elaborate a little bit on what Vijay said, which is the marketplace approach. So if you are in the real estate space, and I see a lot of people saying that, okay, can I sell my property, etc. So essentially what you can do is we have different sections on the website. So we have what's called a sponsor only section, which is meant for experienced real estate investors who are putting in a certain amount of money and staking a certain number of coins. So they can only be a part of the sponsor section if they've staked a certain number of coins in the FOHO system. When a seller comes on board, he has to pay the listing fee, and then he essentially, his project gets shown only to the sponsors. Now the sponsors, one of the sponsors has to say that I'm willing to sponsor this deal. So I'm willing to, what does sponsoring mean? It means that the sponsor has to say that I'm willing to put up 10% of the value of the property, and I will be locked into this property for at least 12 months. I won't be able to sell my tokens for 12 months after the project closes. Once it has, and he has to upload a small paragraph which says that this is why I think this property is a good buy, I think it'll appreciate, etc. Once the listing, this property receives sponsorship, it's then open to the public section where all the retail investors, etc., can see the property, and then they can participate. And we had one question in the comments which says that what happens if everybody wants? So then essentially the property gets oversubscribed. So if, let's say, for instance, the value of the property is like $1 million, and it gets interest of $10 million, then everybody's going to get 1/10 of what they wanted to own in that property. This could be because the property is like a very, very high yield product. It could be like a shop that's rented out to 5 ATMs in a mall, and the banks are all paying great rent, and the yield on that product, on that shop, is like 20%, etc. Or it could be like, let's say it's a blue chip client like Microsoft, and they are paying very great rent for their campus, or things like that.
Yeah. And just to add, I think I saw a question float by which said, what if I own 20% and I want to sell? Right now, if you own 20% and you want to sell, one is, there's two reasons why you might want to sell. Is either the market is going down, but again, it depends on, if you buy a property in Mumbai and Mumbai real estate goes down, then obviously your value will go down as well, at which point you sell it, somebody else will buy it at that point. But with 20%, you cannot force a sale of the entire property. You need to get 51% to force the sale of the entire property.
Right.
Or you have to get some more of your friends to come and buy more and get to 51%, and then you can force a sale. So it is like owning shares in a company or things like that. So every property will be akin to a company in on a, like a stock exchange.
Got it. Thanks for that clarity. I think that helps a lot. And moving on to the next question, right? I think quite a lot of questions also still has questions around the regulatory side of things. But this
Sure.
question is by White Pigeon. So as a crypto project that deals with the real businesses such as property, is FOHO regulated, and how will FOHO tackle the regulatory measure and any other tight restriction issues?
Yes, that's a good question. So the FOHO coin itself is a utility token, and so that has limited regulations. Every property is a securities token, and so will be regulated by the authorities in the different countries that the property is in. In certain cases, they will be regulated by the Securities Commission. In certain cases, they'll come under RERA, because it's real estate, and in certain countries real estate comes under RERA. There are also norms specific, as Vijay was mentioning earlier, specific to certain provinces and states and kinds of properties. So, for instance, in India, agricultural properties can only be bought in certain states by resident Indians. And so, when you register on your wallet and you KYC on the pay on the FOHO platform, we will take these details, and you will only be whitelisted for the properties that you're eligible to purchase.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
we expect to comply with
Yep.
regulations.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make this very clear. FOHO will adhere to every regulation in every jurisdiction that we operate in, right? So it is not meant to be a way to bypass any regulations, right? It is just a way for democratizing this. People can buy fractions of properties, but you have to be eligible. So to be eligible to buy a fraction, you have to be eligible to buy the full property first, right? So if you cannot buy property so today, by the way, most anybody can buy property. Let's say we were talking to somebody in the Cayman Islands. You can buy property in the Cayman Islands. It doesn't stop anybody from buying it. So if you can buy a full property in Cayman Islands, you can buy 1/10,000 of property in Cayman Islands as well.
Right,
but
makes sense.
If you're not allowed to buy property in Iran, or not allowed to buy property, I don't know, some other place in Korea, then you cannot buy a fraction as well. So you have to be whitelisted in a sense for you to be able to buy a whole property. So, and then that's where the platform will help as well. But we're not a model how we can bypass. So people think because it's crypto, okay, this is somehow not regulated. No, this is going to be regulated. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary, but what we're doing is finding a mechanism using blockchain, and crypto allows everybody, that the new generation of people that have embraced crypto, to be able to participate in an easier manner. So that is, I think, the key benefit here of crypto. It's not that we want to bypass any rules. So I think that's, in a nutshell, what we want to say.
Right. I think this applies only for FOHO house, right? So if it is for FOHO club, I think anybody can participate. Of course, they still need to be whitelisted.
Absolutely.
For club, definitely anybody can participate. Right?
Yes.
That's a slight qualification, Kirtan. And on the FOHO club, we intend to launch alcohol-based clubs where you can have people agreeing to buy all the production of limited edition vineyards and whiskey distilleries and all that. So for those, I guess you'll have to be above 18, right, Vijay?
Yes. You would have to follow whatever the guidelines are, but you might not be restricted by your citizenship or whatever. But absolutely, so that's a fantastic idea. Again, I grew up in Goa, and we're talking to a Fanny distillery, and we're hoping to bring them on board. So a Fanny club gets formed, and people share in the production of the Fanny for 1 year, let's say, and or a micro distillery or whatever. I mean, it allows, and you don't own it only for the 1 year.
Right.
You're sharing. So it's like when people get together and say, what, let's share. I'll buy a whole thing and we'll share it. Now you can share this with anybody thanks to blockchain, because there's no need of somebody touching it and then making, bringing a barrel and pouring into bottles. It gets done at the distillery itself. So I think the model that we think, and there is already a model here, wine clubs and stuff like that, but they're not crypto or blockchain based. But now we're bringing blockchain to all of these things as well.
Like every customer of Bitbns would actually be eligible for it, because the minimum age to even participate or have an account on Bitbns is 18 years of age, right? So I think everybody is eligible here.
Fantastic.
Great. So the next question is somewhere around the revenue side of things. So revenue is an important aspect for all projects to survive and maintain the activities of the project or company, right? So what is the way to create profits or revenue, right? So this is a question by Nitin J.
I think very good question, Nitin. And again, you're looking at two entrepreneurs that have run companies, for the last. Roshan's a little younger than me, so he's done this for 10, 12 years. I've been doing for almost 17, 18 years now. Very profitable. The company that I run, we've been on Profit 500 fastest growing companies in Canada 6 years in a row. We've been on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies in the US. I started a company entirely bootstrapped to nearly $20 million in revenue. So we probably know a thing or two about how to run a profitable company. And I think in this particular space, I'll get Roshan to give you some more details, but he runs a property management company called Trip Villas that manages, as I said, thousands of villas already. So people were asking some questions about maintenance, sinking fund. This is what this gentleman does every day. So this is something that we do. It's not an art. It is a science for us. We know this. Okay, we know exactly how this is done. And I've been investing in real estate for quite some time as well globally. So we do understand this business very well. And then how do we make money? The same way that Uber makes money or Airbnb makes money. There's going to be a fee. Any transaction goes back and forth. Everybody that participates, every product that comes on board, there's going to be a fee. Roshan, you can elaborate a little bit on the fees as well.
Yes, absolutely. So essentially, when you buy the property's value includes a what's called a maintenance reserve. So essentially, what that means is when the property comes onto the platform, we estimate anywhere from 2% to 5% of the value of the property is added to the value of the property and kept as a maintenance reserve and just kept aside, so that in case there's some maintenance, repairs, etc., the coin holders don't have to pay the maintenance fresh. There's already that much capital in the trust to basically pay for those maintenance, upgrades, etc. And then, of course, there's the rental on the property itself, which then doesn't get retained by the trust. It just directly gets paid out to the coin holders. In terms of fees, how do we make money? The platform makes money from platform fees. And what we're doing is we are basically, through this mechanism, through the FOHO Coin, trying to incentivize people to help the platform gain traction. And so if you are helping your friends know about FOHO Coin and you're recruiting them to join the platform, we will share a portion of our fees with you. So essentially, holding a FOHO Coin and holding a FOHO wallet in your FOHO Coin in your wallet then also allows you to participate in the referral program and make money by helping FOHO as a platform gain visibility, gain traction, finding new deals which you can put on the FOHO platform. Because let's say, for instance, we may know nothing about, let's say, for instance, Udaipur, but you may be based in Udaipur and you may know that, hey, look, there's this nice hotel and, it's making good income and it's available for a particular price. And I'm sitting in Udaipur and I can monitor the hotel. And so, but I don't have the cash. So I will put it on Fohocoin, FOHO platform. Other people will subscribe to it. The trust will buy it, and then I will be the manager and I will oversee it, and I'll make some money because of that. So sure, put it on the platform as long as it's going to make more than 5-6% in income. Everybody is interested.
Yeah. So we see
No doubt.
this as potentially businesses on forward.work. You have a business, you can bring your business. It's almost like a Kickstarter. You can almost bring your own business on here as well. So basically you're asking for people to share, and people can come in and they can share in the benefits, right? So absolutely. So the revenues, and again, it's a good question. So 25% of all revenues that come in will be used to buy back and burn for coins as well. So there is an inbuilt mechanism. As revenues go up, we're going to do a little bit of the buyback as well. So that would be some benefits to FOHO holders, FOHO coin holders, as we go along as well. And that's in the white paper
Thanks
already.
for Brilliant. Thanks for answering that. And I think once you answer the revenue question, I think more interest came along. So the next question is more on what is the eligibility criteria for properties to be listed, right? Because you're going to take care of a lot of things. So the question here clearly is the eligibility criteria for properties to be listed. And as per your guidelines, you have given priority to India over other countries. So what are the objectives behind that part?
Yeah. So the eligibility criteria is, as I said, that the first step is the property has to be listed, and you have to pay the listing fee. As part of paying the listing fee, we as FOHO, our representative, will go and physically visit the property and will verify your basic claims, which means that if you say that I've got this shop and I've got ICICI Bank as a tenant, and this is the address, and my name is Ram Yadav, so we will actually go physically visit the shop. We will go and see if ICICI Bank is the tenant. We will photograph it. We will then check the electricity bill and see whether the electricity meter is in the name of Ram Yadav, etc. We will authenticate your identity in terms of your Aadhaar card, etc. And then only can the listing go into what's called the sponsor section. So that's the first level of check. Then the second check is that somebody else should find the deal attractive, and that person should be someone designated as a sponsor on our website, which means that he's got a certain coins number of coins staked, which can be used in case of disciplinary action against him. So he's taking a risk by saying that I'm willing to pay for, let's say, if the bank branch is costing 2 crores to buy, then he has to put up 20 lakhs. So, and he
10%.
has to say that, so he has to put up at least 10%. And he has to say that for 12 months, I won't sell my 10%. So you have to be, the deal has to be attractive enough. It has to be a genuine deal. And it can't be just, another apartment in Bombay making 2% or an apartment in Delhi making 1.5% in income. Nobody is going to be interested on the FOHO platform and buying that. Everybody is looking at, how can I make crazy money? And in real estate, crazy money means the bar is at least 5-6% a year.
Totally, completely agree with that. Thanks for answering that question. So we have a few more questions, and I think we are almost down to 45 minutes right now. So let me pull up those questions. So yeah, so how safe is it? That's the question next, right? So not on the investing side of things in terms of owning a fraction of the property, right? Sure, this is issued on blockchain. How safe is it for one to actually own? I think this is kind of a question everybody would have, right? Okay, this is a new project out there. They're issuing things on blockchain. So how safe is it? So kind of an assurance is what somebody's asking. And this is a question by Mr. Arun.
Yeah. So I think, one is that remember that when you're investing in the securities tokens, first it's regulated. So there is oversight in every country that, that we put a property in. We cannot. Secondly, if you see myself and Vijay, we are public individuals. We have large companies, large businesses, reputations, etc. to protect. And so it's not like we can disappear tomorrow. The next thing is that keep in mind that if you look at the FOHO white paper and the tokenomics of the paper, you'll see that nearly 50% of the value of FOHO coin at any point of time is actually in real cash, because the money that that people are using to subscribe to the FOHO coin is actually lying with FOHO in the FOHO company, and then we are using that cash to actually pay out property owners and market make in many ways, in terms of, I don't think there's a single other cryptocurrency apart from the stable coins which have that level of cash underpinning the value of the coin.
Yeah, and
Right,
then
right. So,
so just to add, if you're in the property token, once you bought a property, the property will go up and down, right? This is like real estate. There is no guarantee. So if you want something very safe, right, then you should hold on to your money. I mean, if you want 100% safety, there is nobody is going to give you 100% safety. So if you buy any property, it is it is the vagaries of the real estate market. It is not like going to the stock market and saying, tell me the stock that is 100% safe. And if somebody tells you that stock, send him to me. I've been investing stock market for the last 25 years. If somebody tells you this is
right, right,
100% safe, if somebody tells you something like that, it is not right. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this right away. There is no 100% safe thing. And if you
Yeah.
want safety, put some coins in a bank deposit. Okay, that is not what we are doing. If you are willing to, there's something called as risk return. Are you taking the appropriate amount of risk for the appropriate amount of return? I think from that thing, what we are offering from a risk return perspective is I think quite a bit of return for not as much risk. I mean, obviously, if Mumbai property market goes down, your tokens, your 110,000 of the Mumbai property apartment in NCPA, it's also going to go down. If it goes up, it's going to go up.
true.
So yeah.
Vijay, I want to add to that for the investors who are looking at a fixed kind of return, we as FOHO will launch mortgages soon.
Mhm.
So will allow
Okay.
you to basically say that I will lend FOHO coins to other people who want to buy properties, and what I will do is I will get they have to put the 20% down payment, and I will own that. Their fraction cannot be sold. All rental income comes to me as the lender until I get my first 12%, 13%. In case, let's say, the person defaults, then and he doesn't may pay up, etc., then the his property fraction can be liquidated, and then I can take that fraction and I can recover my principal, etc. So we will offer, as part of the ecosystem, other lower risk profile, or I won't say lower risk, but other different risk profile investments into on a blockchain basis. But what Vijay said is absolutely true. At the end of the day, I don't think that you want to, like, I mean, like, if you are wanting to invest in a stable coin, I don't understand the logic in investing in something that's guaranteed to remain the same. Because
Right,
the
right,
nature of the
right.
product is that you are going to make zero money. So I mean, given that we are in 2021, and everybody is so intelligent, etc., don't you think you can make at least 5% on your money? Obviously you can, if you're just smart and you're disciplined, but I can guarantee you that you can never make money if you're investing in a product which is guaranteed to remain the same,
Right.
because it's
It doesn't
guaranteed
make
to not
sense
go
either,
up.
right? Why would you rather invest in
There's
the
always
first
some
place?
risk. There's always risk.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
there's,
always
there's
some
always
risk.
some risk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Right, right. Thanks for that. So there's two more questions. So one of the questions is directed towards Bitbns actually, which I will take later. So what is the backup plan here in case if the results get delayed? The question is not around what would happen if you don't commit to the roadmap. It's more around if there are regulation issues, is there a contingency plan around it? Things like that. So how does that look like?
Yeah, so in case there are regulatory issues, we are confident. So we are doing a staged rollout. So which means that initially we are
Right.
doing India, Sri Lanka, and Canada. In these three
Mhm.
places, we are very confident that we're not going to have any major regulatory issues, because they are well established regulations like RERA in India. Sri Lanka is very open to
Right.
foreign investors, etc. And and then we have put on a roadmap for other countries that we feel offer great risk reward ratio. Now, having
Right.
said that, if you see the prevailing environment today, because of COVID, there are so many economies around the world which were tourism linked, industry linked, fisheries linked, etc., which have gotten very badly affected, and their governments are going all out. It's a red carpet welcome to anybody who's going to put in money into real estate and building of assets and infrastructure in these countries. So we are sure that with the amount of capital that we have at our disposal, that the amount of capital that's there in the crypto world, all these governments are reaching out to us and saying that, if you can direct some of that capital here, we will give you great deals. We will give you land for free so you can build vacation homes. We will give you existing hotels in distress which you can take over, and as because they want the money to come into their country, they want it to go into building their economy, they want it to go into creating jobs, and this is a perfect opportunity for investors in crypto.
Right. Perfect. So the next question actually has two parts, one directed towards Bitbns and the other one towards FOHO. I believe you have already answered this question, but I'll let you answer this question again, though. So in bearish market, is holding FOHO coins safe? I think considering the real estate market prices, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as Roshan mentioned, it is backed by whatever our present issue price is backed by cash. So it is backed by cash. I mean, now as it starts, if it does get to stratospheric levels, it may not be backed entirely by cash. But at this present level, I think we can at this present level, if it goes below our offer price, I'm going to say I will buy. Anybody wants to sell, I will buy it at lower, right? And Roshan will buy it. So
yeah, why would we not?
So at our present offer price, we're guaranteeing it. I mean, this is not, I don't think we can officially say this, but I'm saying, why would we not buy it? It is cash, right? If somebody says, I have $10, I'm going to sell my $10 for $5. Hey, give it to me. I will buy your $10 for $5, right? It doesn't make sense. But again, if that $10 goes to 50 or 100, at which point, it is a fraction, or it is a point. It is dependent on the ecosystem, on the platform, on the revenue. There's a bunch of other factors. Now, those are things that will play out as we go along. But right away, immediately, I think the base value is definitely guaranteed. There's no reason why the base value should go anywhere below. But again, as things go, and we will not be able to hold those guarantees at every level.
Never know, Vijay. Maybe there are some people out there interested in giving us free money.
Sure.
Right. So I think Ashok, this question was by Ashok D'Souza actually. So Ashok, I think case in point here, it's very simple. Token out there is backed by real cash that is in the reserve, right? So the chances that it would go below that is very less, right? So it's already backed by real cash over there. So yes, I think it's actually safe to hold FOHO even in bearish markets as well. And to answer the other part of the question, Ashok, if Indian government banned crypto, what step will Bitbns exchange take? Is our funds safe on Bitbns? Yes, absolutely. Your funds are safe no matter what happens. Your funds are always safe on Bitbns. And I'd like to quote CEO Gaurav Dahake.
Can I say something, Ketan? If the Indian government bans crypto, the first thing that all Bitbns guys should do is buy the FOHO coin and buy a house and go and stay in it.
Definitely. Absolutely. But that's a good tip, no doubt, considering the token is backed by fiat, which is already with you, right? But Ashok, again, so your funds are definitely safe. And to quote what our CEO Gaurav Dahake said in one of our AMS during the same FUD time, what happens if crypto is banned in India? What would happen then? So I'd like to quote him again. So it's very simple. As long as there is Bitcoin, Bitbns will survive and your funds are safe and you'll be able to trade. I'd like to close it with that one. Right. So this has been a great AMA, Vijay and Roshan. Thank you so much. And Roshan, definitely looking forward to meet you again for some carne fries in Bangalore or someplace else for sure. Oh, by the way, Vijay, I met Roshan last week in Bangalore when he was here. So when you're here in India, Vijay, we should definitely meet for sure.
I really envy you guys. All the good food and the monsoon weather and everything. Fantastic. Enjoy. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining in. I mean, really appreciate it. Also, we have something called the FOHO Army. I'll just take 1 second. Please join us. These are well-wishers, ambassadors, and the special benefits to joining the FOHO Army. So join the army now, the FOHO Army.
Awesome,
Okay.
fantastic. So our social media team would actually update all the links in the description in YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere this is being streamed. Links to all the FOHO and how to participate in the FOHO IDO on launch on Ascent.com. So all those details would be there. Again, thank you so much, Roshan and Vijay. We should definitely host one right after the IDO again.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Perfect. Have a good one, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Good night.